Welcome to another film study episode, and today I want to talk about how this Browns defense actually has a chance going up against this very high-powered Kansas City offense led by Patrick Mahomes. Yes, the Browns are severely undermanned and just have a general lack of talent, whereas Patrick Mahomes and that Kansas City offense have pretty much everything that you could possibly need for an offense. So, yes, I do think that, of course, there's a very obvious talent gap, but the KC offense has had its fair share of struggles as of late, and I do think there are some things schematically that the Browns could definitely look to take advantage of on Sunday afternoon. So, let's analyze some film. Now, for this first play, the Chiefs here are going to try to work the boundary. There's only 50 seconds left, so they're trying to get a touchdown, but not use up too much clock. And the Falcons are going to go three defensive edge players, and they're going to play really far outside. You can see their defensive line is very wide, and this is a very unusual alignment. And more funny enough, is they have an edge rusher that is almost essentially playing as a linebacker here. And what's very unique here is the edge rushers that's playing in that linebacker spot is going to wrap around the edge and essentially force Mahomes to get rid of that ball as soon as possible because he applies the heat outside the pocket. Mahomes is very, very good rolling out and throwing on the run and just making magic happen outside the pocket. So what the Falcons did, and only held the Chiefs to 17 points, is they kept him inside the pocket and forced him to not be allowed to scramble and make things happen outside of it. The Broncos also held Mahomes to 22 points with a banged-up secondary. Here, the Broncos are going to run a zero blitz. They're going to send pretty much the house and leave everybody else on an island. And yes, look, the Broncos have a terrible secondary with all their injuries, but they were able to hold Mahomes because here, look at how far Mahomes drops back. He is one of the longest dropbacks in the entire NFL. And so all the edge defenders of the Broncos have to do is just run straight. He drops so far back that the edge defenders don't really have to curve their rush inside. And because of that, Mahomes only has a couple of seconds in the pocket, so he's just forced to chuck it to the nearest thing he can see, which is Travis Kelce. And of course it falls incomplete. But he can't even see that he has a receiver running down the middle of the field uncovered and that a Bronco defender slipped because of just how quickly the rush gets there because of the bad position he put himself in because of how far he drops back. And so that will work perfectly for Myles Garrett, who's really well known for getting around tackles using his speed and bendability. So this is something that the Browns need to pay attention to in film. Mahomes has a very strong arm, which allows him to drop back really far in the pocket, but it also comes back to bite him because of how far he drops back and just how quickly a pass rush can get to him. And this is where his mistakes can come to hurt him. And this is going back to the Falcons game. The Falcons are actually running a cover 3, and what Mahomes fails to realize here is that there isn't any pressure coming at him. He senses some pressure that just isn't there. There's a way for him to step up, but he just does not step up, and he tries to force it to Kelce in an awkward position and doesn't fully step into the throw, which causes it to get picked off. And again, what the Browns need to do, force your edge rushers to just loop around, and Mahomes will make bad throws and not set his feet when he throws, which is exactly what you want him to do. Now, before we move on, this is what happens when you don't contain Patrick Mahomes. So the Raiders here, they're up 31-28, 30 seconds left in the game, and the Chiefs need a touchdown. They don't need a touchdown, but they're going for one. And so what happens here is the Raiders' defensive line collides inward. Max Crosby, they all crash inward, and this allows Patrick Mahomes to have just a wide open view of everything. He's able to run in the pocket, do his improvisation, and do what Patrick Mahomes does, and throws a wide open pass to Travis Kelce. And this is how catastrophic it can get. If you don't play contain, if your edge rushers do not wrap around tackles and try to bend and collapse the pocket, then Patrick Mahomes will run amok behind the line of scrimmage and improv and just find anything that he wants because of that arm talent and just overall vision to see things developing that other quarterbacks just don't have. The Raiders in Week 5 were the only team to beat the Chiefs with their full starters, and it's because of some of the innovative things that they did on defense. So here's a 3rd and 8, and what the Raiders are going to run is a cover 1 robber. And what this is essentially is it's a little complicated because pre-snap it looks like a cover 2 man. There's a man across the board, and then you have your 2 safeties back deep. And what is actually interesting about this play is the slot corner there is going to read the receiver opposite, right in front of him. If he cuts outside, he's going to continue as if he's on that man. And then that safety, the safety closest to the screen, is going to be the robber. He's going to be the guy that comes and covers that middle of the field. And what the other option is, if that receiver in front of that slot corner runs a deep route, then the slot corner is actually going to drop to be the robber defender, and that safety closer to your screen is going to cover that receiver as he gets that receiver handed off to him by the corner. So that was a lot to unpack, but that's essentially what this Raiders is going to do. And although it is a little risky because the safety closest to the screen could theoretically lose his balance if there's some messiness transferring the receiver from the corner to the safety, but that's not the case. And what this allows also the Raiders defense to do is to double team Travis Kelce, who's closest to the screen on the left, opposite the trips. And what's great about that is because Mahomes looks for Kelce all the time on 3rd down. And Kelce's going to run an in route, and it almost gets picked off by that robber defender because he's bracketed. Kelce is bracketed, but Mahomes just has struggles reading that cover 1 robber, and ultimately the Chiefs have to punt, and that's what the Browns will need to force a lot of if they want to beat the Chiefs. So here's another play I really love from the Raiders defense. It's going to be a 4th and 7. The Chiefs pretty much had to have this if they wanted a shot at winning. And they're going to run a double post type play. It's a post/seam. It's not exactly a very defined post, but anyway, we're going on a tangent. What the Raiders are going to run is a cover 6. And what a cover 6 is it has cover 4 on one side. You see the 2 safeties. They're going to drop into their quarters, their deep quarters. And then you're going to have the side closest to your screen going to be a cover 2 look. It's that one safety, that's their deep half. And that's to match the strong side of the formation for the Chiefs offense. They're going to have 3 receivers on the left side. And what this does is it essentially keeps everything in front of them. And what the Browns will need to do is they'll need to follow suit. They keep everything in front of them, and ultimately Patrick Mahomes will get aggressive and throw this ball. He's going to get aggressive even if it's not 4th and 7. Mahomes they can't dink and dunk their way down the field. Mahomes will eventually try to force something and play hero ball. And that's what the Raiders just thrived on. They capitalized on his mistakes. Jeff Heath gets the interception. Mahomes tries to fit it into a window. He's just not quite able to fit it in. And the pass rushes for the Raiders just gets there right in time. And the Browns' pass rush is much better. So that's what you're going to need to do if you're the Browns. You're going to need to keep everything in front of you and make sure that pass rush gets home in time, or at least affect the throw enough that your secondary can capitalize on a wonky throw. There's a reason the Chiefs went 14-2 and only really lost 1 game, because that Chargers game at the end, they didn't have any of their starters. So, yes, it might seem a little daunting, because the Browns' defense just got wrecked by Ben Roethlisberger, who threw for 500 yards. But let's also not forget that this Browns defense has done a great job forcing turnovers when the players play well. I think that the Browns stand a very good chance if they can make sure to play just prevent and just don't allow the big play to happen, because Mahomes gets frustrated very easily. This is a very tough task. No one is saying it isn't. But to say that Mahomes and that KC offense is unstoppable is just not fair. And to say the Browns don't have a chance in the divisional round is also really not fair. I think the Browns have a very good chance to just win the thing outright and move on to the AFC Championship game. But it is a fun game I'm looking forward to, and I really hope that the Browns find a way to come out victorious and move on closer to the Super Bowl. Thanks for watching.